Don't make it your boy Ink. I don't know if they catch the first part because I never know if it's on the first seconds or the tree. Welcome to another episode, another review of Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 5, Chupacabra. And I'm hoping I'm saying this right, otherwise it could be Chupa, a cabra, or it could be Chupacabra. I have no fucking clue, we just had a 5 hour energy, which is why we're bursting with energy. So let's start the review. Let's start it right away. We have some scene before the pandemic and how the people meet. And it's kind of cool because yes, we know something happened between Shane and Lori. We don't know how all of these survivors met. We saw a scene where Carl and Sophia becoming quick friends with Lori and Carol becoming quick friends. We see Eddie the Asshole. And we're seeing Atlanta being Napalm. So right away, it's super weird because if it was Napalm, the city would be a bit more destroyed and it would be a little less zombie. But hey, I'm not gonna question because I do not know. I don't know. I don't know how it works, right? We got the gang is hope is to find Sophia, right? Uh, because again, she's on the loose. She's running wild. So it's kind of cool because we're having a totally different system. And it's nice because we're having those red tickets for Rick team, which is Rick and Shane, and blue for Andrea and Tyrone. And that way they look at the grid, and it's a system I didn't know about. So now that we're getting into a little system, it's kind of super cool. Again, how true is the system? I don't fucking know. But still, right? We can have a lot of Rick and Shane. Oh, by the way, I took some notes this time, but fuck it. I'll have to go. I'm gonna have to take some notes or do a review right after because that's the fucking mess afterward. Got some Rick and Shane conversation. So again, it's kind of cool because it starts with them being super friends, talking about the past experience they have and how most of the people they knew died, and they're realizing. But there's also a lot of fighting, which is Rick trying to be like the safety route, and Shane being more like optimistic, not optimistic but pessimistic, like saying, "Yo, we're not gonna have a lot of food, we're not gonna have a lot of fuel, like we're wasting time, we're wasting resources. This is about survival. I know we're wanting to find a girl, but she might be dead." Rick is a stupid. He knew that. Making it for his partner and the person he cared the most about. It's rough. We got got Daryl who loses the horse. Ultimately, it served a purpose in the story, but for now, we have Daryl. He falls from one of his boats. He's badly wounded. Daryl is super important. The fact that we might be losing it is kind of nutty. It is super dangerous because, again, what it brings to the crew, we could lose. Like, I don't want to be a dick, but there's people we lost. It didn't matter too much. Like Amy, what was her purpose in the story? What was making Angela badass? The fact she had to die, right? If Daryl dies, we have. It's kind of cool because after the talk, Rick and Shane influenced Rick in saying like, "Yo, um, you know, you're." Maybe he's right. Maybe we're wasting our time. And Lori, she tells him, "You're trying to do the good thing. When it's trying to do the good thing isn't worth it. Why? Yeah, maybe we're not having results, but you're doing your best." And Lori, she's solid. She's solid for that. She really brings up Rick, and it's hard because she's in a situation where Shane is needed to survival, and Shane is there for her, and Rick is there for her husband, and she needs to be with with Rick. So constantly has to choose in between. And at first I was like, yo, she just want to keep the both guy, but then maybe the fact that she want to have the group safe, you know. We have a conversation between Urshel and Rick. So this is where this is important. You know, they were trying to find Sophia. Rick brought the son, and the son of Urshel said, "Yo, my father said it's okay." And Ricky believed him. Then Daryl loses his horse, and then you realize that there's two clans, and they have to respect each other, and that maybe Rick is not as respectful as Urshel. They should be. Like losing a horse is a big deal. Having a son on a ship without asking is a big deal, right? And of course, there's it's not his fault. It's not Daryl. He didn't have to steal a horse, and Rick knows that. And Rick was lied to from the son, but he should have verified. In fact, it didn't verify. It was the minimum to do, right? So we have that Rick and Urshel, and it sucks because usually Urshel and Rick are the best moments. So the fact that there might be a problem It's tough. And you know what's amazing? Amazing in this episode? Carol, she wants to help cook a dinner for just so, for people to get closer because yeah, Urshel and Rick they have a good relationship, but most of them they don't know each other. We're meeting Beth today, and Beth she's also an important character. She was part of the Green family from the beginning, and we didn't even meet her. So it's kind of cool because Carol says something super, like not stupid, but super like silly, but it does make sense. She calls Lori the first woman, and this is a proof that there's hierarchy, and the group know that this hierarchy is there. So it does matter at the end of the day. It does really matter. We got Urshel, got Maggie and Glenn talking, right? No, sorry. We got Urshel and Maggie, and Urshel telling Maggie, don't get involved with those people. Because Urshel is a good person. And but he's afraid because those people they're carrying guns. They're not somebody you can control. Urshel likes to be in charge, and also, but Urshel preach. Oh, you have to be like a good Christian. You have to be helpful. You have to be nice. And then Maggie tells him like she wants to be kind of these people because Maggie knows that all of them can survive together, and Maggie knows that they're stronger together, and that life was good. But again, without Otis, who else can do shit? Basically, like we don't know the problem with the Green family. Like we don't know who's doing what. We know Otis was a hunter. We know Ursula's able to he's able to farm and everything. So you got food, you got meat, right? But now that Otis is gone, are they be feeding on food? We don't know what's gonna be winter there, right? So that's important. We have another part of a Dale and Angela and how they talk, and it's important because Dale he's trying to tell Angia like, yo, I don't need to. It's badass. I'm gonna have to do it better, but take your time. There's no rush. And Angia she doesn't listen at all. And Angia it sucks because she really had good intention. She really had good intention, and she's representing femininity like, amongst the group. Like she wants to be like, yes, I'm a woman, but I don't want to clean clothes, which was a big issue in the Frog episode. I want to be like really in charge of that. I want to be in charge of protecting the camp also. So that's kind of cool. We love that. We got shot. We got Daryl. Okay, shoot, Daryl, and just shoot. Okay, nice. Okay, good. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I made a mistake. So we got Glenn talking to Dale, and that's kind of important because Glenn just had sex with Maggie, right? And he's talking about with Dale, and again, it's kind of cool because we, it's the intricacy of those relationships. We have Rick who looks as to Urshel for advice, and you got Glenn who looks at Dale for advice, and Dale and Glenn have a great relationship. Dale got him a guitar because he thought maybe he could play, right? And then there's this abundance of like really amazing things going on. For example, like he's talking, and Dale wants to be happy for Glenn, but he doesn't understand that there's bigger thing at place, and that might mess up the relationship between the Glens and the survivors. We have an amazing scene with Daryl who sees Merle, and it's so important to the character because Daryl Daryl wants to be part of the group. He wants to be sensitive, but Merle wouldn't let him. And as long as Merle was gonna be there, it's gonna be Merle and Daryl versus the rest of the group, not versus per they can coexist, but they cannot be part of the same group. So Daryl he's woozy because he got a arrow there, right? And he dreams about Daryl making fun of him and saying, "Oh, you're Rick's bitch now." And Harold is actually on the side of Rick. He's like, "Yo, we done right with you. We went to get you. We went." That Merle was like, "Yo, should have come and get me," and Daryl's like, "Yo, we come and get you. We did right by you. You're the one who escaped. You're the one who's guilty here." Rick was a good person, and usually you would think that Daryl would protect Daryl would be protecting his brother, but since Rick has been so cool with him, it's a kind of shift towards more being part of the group versus than not. And this gonna come in really later on the show, in this episode, but it does mean a shit ton. The simple fact that he sees Rick as his role model is so fucking important. Right? He leaves the forest because he gets up, he gets back up, and Merle is like, "Yo, hold Rick hand." And this is an amazing moment where Merle puts his hand, and Merle is a figment of imagination. He's an imagination of Daryl. So Daryl he comes to reach the end, and he comes up, and instead of reaching the end, he grabs the soil, refusing the end. Might have been a illusion. Might have been a dream, but the meaning behind it is refusing Merle help. Is distancing himself from Merle. Is distancing himself from his past and his previous identity, which is again extremely important. We got a oh man, we got a scene where Merle is kicking the boots of Daryl, saying, get up, get up, get up. And then we realize that there's Walker who's batting the boots. You know, holy shit, this is well made. This is well thought of. I love that. Daryl goes out of the forest. He meets the people. The people are happy to see him. But Andrea shot him, and it's not because Andrea wanted to do good. She wanted to shoot a walker. She wanted to be part of it. But then again, she was a person with a gun, and they said no gun. And then Andrea, that act was super selfish. And although she had good intention, her shooting, Ricky said, "Yo, we just." Herschel said, I want all your gun." And then Rick says, "Okay, I just need one gun, please. I need a guy who has a rifle. He's gonna be checking the perimeter. We trust him." And Herschel cares about Dale, so he's like, "Okay, fine." But then Andrea shooting. You broke the promise you made to Herschel that only Dale would have a weapon, right? So that's no good. That's not good, right? We got the supper. It's super nice. We got the supper because there's a lot of tension. For example, Glenn just asked, "Are we gonna be?" Dude, it's amazing. It's amazing. Um, the Glenn asked, "Did anybody play guitar?" And oh, Herschel said Otis did, and you can still see that they're mad at, they're sad about Otis' death. There's still a lot of tension, right? And Maggie, she sees that, and she sees Glenn trying, so she's like, "Yo, wanna have sex again? Where you wanna go?" Right? And she writes him a message. With the writing message is too loud, and when he says, "Oh, let's do it in the barn," we realize the barn is full of Walker, and that is Ursel's secret. And it's a big problem because the barn, yes, is protected, but there's a shit ton of Walker. There's like a herd, and it's super close. And the group has faced a herd, and they know the problem, right? We're in this whole situation because we were separated by a herd. This is the end of the episode. I just want to mention something that's super important. It is Carol and Daryl, and it's so fucking amazing. There's this weird relationship between the two of them. Last episode, he was caring about her for the Cherokee Rose, and then he come back and she's like, "Yo, you did so much for him," and Daryl, fucking amazing. Oh, fuck, it's so powerful. Daryl says, "I didn't do anything less than Shane and Rick would do," and that means that emotional. That means that he does like regard and he has a role model, which is Rick and Shane, and they're positive role model compared to Merle. And Carol tells him one thing, and it's beautiful. She tells him, "You're every bit as good as them." So Daryl is a guy who grew up with a shitty family with very low self-esteem. So understanding that he's part of the group and that he has a right to be in the group, that he doesn't have to be following Rick, but just be alongside Rick and Shane. But it's more a relationship between him and Rick. It's just beautiful and so important in the story. This is the seed that was planted to say, "Hey, Daryl, you're good too, bro. You're a good person," and it's beautiful because Daryl needed to hear that, you know. And yeah, that's about it. That's it. So I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional, but this is just a beautiful moment. I love you guys. Peace. Whew, what an emotional episode, man. Shit.